Welcome back to more Summoner's War Monster Strategies. Today we are going to be moving on to the Imps, the 2-star Imp monsters. And we will be beginning with the one known as Ralph. Okay, so Ralph, I mean, just by looking at the stats, which actually, let's go ahead and talk about them right now. The stats, oh my god. Alright, so his stats as a level 46 star. 5,595 HP. Yes, that is not a typo. 790 attack, 483 defense, and 113 speed. Also, what's interesting, when you awaken this guy, he actually loses speed. The first time I heard about this, I thought it was like a typo on their part or something, like where I saw it on the internet. But then, I looked into it, and it's true. And I was like, what? Are you freaking kidding me, come to us? Why does awakening this guy slow him down? I guess you can say, because he has a helm? And that's steel, metal, so he slows down, but that's not consistent, because with other imps, some of them improve in speed. The other elementals, some of them decrease. This guy and one other one decrease in speed. So that theory is debunked of the whole helmet slowing him down. Doesn't make any sense. I don't know if that was just a mess up on Come to this part, but whatever. Let's talk about the actual monster now. So the stats, as I just said, they're pretty bad. At least the HP is pretty bad. The attack stat is pretty impressive for a 2-star, but the problem is that his defense at 483, in combination with that terrible, I mean absolutely terrible HP, is a really major turnoff. It really is. I mean, the speed is pretty good. Actually, it's good. It's better than Bernard, that speed. I mean, any monster that has more than 111 speed, because Bernard is already seen as one of the, like, amazing fast monster, fast-paced speed. So any monster that has more than Bernard, you're like, wow, he's fast. So he is fast, I'll give him that. But that's not enough to make up for his terrible stats. Okay, let's now talk about his skills. His first one, Lightning Spear, attacks the enemy with a spear and increases the attack speed for 2 turns if you get a critical hit. Okay. Second one, unleashes an accurately aimed deadly thrust. This attack receives a 50% critical rate bonus. And the third one, attacks multiple enemies at once with a fierce spinning spear. Okay. So this imp, just like most imps, is actually, he's critical oriented. His first one gives him a buff if he gets a critical hit. The second one receives a critical rate bonus of 50%, that's really big. Not amazing like Sarah's Historical 70%, but 50%, good. And the third one, it just attacks multiple enemies, no critical there, but I mean, for the first 2 skills, you probably want some criticals. So let's talk about the runes. The way you rune this guy, the main way I've seen it has been Rage Blade, because again, critical oriented. So if you improve his critical damage and his critical rate, that's already good in itself. As far as the slots go, attack and then either critical rate or critical damage and then attack. That's the most basic setup, and I'm only giving a basic setup because this guy is not used a lot. I mean, really, if you get this guy in the beginning of the game, you will use him maybe for a bit because he's pretty good in attack. But you will see that he has a problem surviving an attack, even one attack. He gets one-shotted every single freaking time. So you're like, what the hell, game? Like, why would you give me this shitty monster that doesn't even work? Yeah, that's the problem, see? He's just not used that well. And even though I'm giving Rage, which is found in Necropolis, I mean, people would be like, well, if Necropolis is only found late in the game, why are you giving a Rage? Well, I mean, you can do Necropolis 1 and 2 and 3 fairly easily, you know, with a few 5-stars at least, you know. So you could get Rage runes, not good ones, but Rage runes that would work temporary for this guy, because honestly, Rage Blade seems to be like his best setup. And if somebody were to disagree with that, I mean, I would actually probably maybe agree with you if you had a pretty good argument, just because it's just hard to find, you know, good rune setups for monsters that are really not used, that are just terrible in themselves. So I'm only giving this because, again, he's critical oriented. Give him critical damage in slot 4 if you want to buff up his second attack because it already has a nice critical rate bonus, or give him critical rate if you want to, like, almost always ensure that you get a critical rate on the first one, the first attack, and just get critical rates overall with skill 2 and 3. But whatever, as far as substats go, attack, critical rate, critical damage. And there we go. This guy is an attack oriented monster, but I mean, he's one of the most squishy monsters in the game. What can I say? He is one of the most squishy monsters ever. And because of that, he's just not used. If you get this guy early in the game, You could keep him if you want, but probably not. By the time you get to mid-game, you're like, screw this guy, you will never use him again. And that's that. Alright, so that is my overall review of this guy. That's pretty much it. Like I said, not a good monster at all. Not a good monster. Anyway, if you have had some successes with this guy, go ahead and leave a comment and some rune recommendations so that people can actually see the rune recommendations if they're not the ones I said, or you can disagree with what I said too. That's fine too. Anyway, thank you for watching. Goodbye everybody, and until next time.